Welcome to the Put on Waivers Media Group, home of the Put on Raiders podcast and the Student Body Right podcast. This is your place for the best breakdowns and the best insight for those who fight on and bleed silver and black. Now, here are your hosts, Dwayne Douglas and Ryan Holmes.
Welcome everybody to the glorious episode of the Student Body Right USC podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas. I am podcasting on the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. Beautiful day out here in Southern California. PORSPR is my Twitter handle. If you hear a little humming in the background, that is they're working on the roof out here. So I got to just bear through it. I've been trying to wait all day for a clear spot to do a show, and they still working on the roof. So I best, I'd rather have a good roof than nothing at all. So let's talk about this USC thing going on here now. Everybody's talking about they're missing out on all these defensive tackles. It's a thing. I mean, it's a thing. It's going to be there for forever. I can't, I'm not going to go through all the transfer portal guys. Like, I know they got a kid from Stephen A. Austin. They got the kid Suggs coming in. They're still in the mix on a lot of these guys. Cause I think a lot of these guys, if you go to Michigan, you're a DT, you're probably not going to play that much. So it makes sense to go to SC or Florida State or, LSU who has holes on the defensive line as far as that goes. But it's not looking great as far as the defensive line goes. And I think it's really kind of stinks in so many different ways. But if they could ever just fix that one little spot, it would be great, because I should say that huge spot, because they have the other pieces on the defensive side of the ball. They have a creative defensive coordinator. They have a good defensive line coach, linebacker coach, DB coach, you name it. And those guys are good, and they're good to go in those spots. But the problem is they just don't have that guy those guys in the middle. I don't know how you continuously stop the run in a running conference without having guys up the middle. And I think that we're never going to see. I think the biggest annoying thing that USC fans don't want to see is having a guy like Barry Alexander have a huge career, right? Let him have a huge career in the National Football League. And people say, wow, why was he so underwhelming at USC? It's because we couldn't ever get a defensive tackle to play alongside him as far as that goes. I know there's a lot of moving parts with this. LSU just came out with a video. I know USCJ kind of went into it about Brian Kelly, talking about they're not going to buy players. I think the thing about it for us is we're USC fans. Like, we don't want to wait. And I can't fault USC fans for not wanting to wait. It's been a minute. We watched Oregon do their thing. We're watching, Washington Washington, who's good every, 5, 6, 7 years. I'm saying Washington. I'm not dissing Washington. I'm saying Washington's been like title contenders. Like, they usually like once every 10 years, 6, 7 years they are. And when they are, they make it all the way to the championship game against Michigan and lose, but still they're in the championship game. They got a quarterback who was taken eighth overall. So, and if you look at Caleb Williams and he goes into the NFL and tears it up with the Bears, you got to be saying to yourself, kicking yourself, saying, damn, like, we had Caleb Williams and we didn't won 7 games in the season. So that's the biggest thing. I understand, like, if you went to, I think the Athletic had an article with the top 25 and what their biggest needs were of all the teams. And a lot of teams that USC plays this year, and a lot of teams around the country, need defensive tackles. And they are not the reason why they're going to be in high demand and highly paid commodity for a long period of time is because human beings are not meant to be that big and fast. You can find the 7-on-7 receivers, you can find the quarterbacks, you can do all that. Even if, for God willing, Juju decides to decommit from USC and go somewhere else. I mean, it would hurt, but they still would have ability to get another quarterback under Lincoln Riley who could play at a high level. Maybe not at Juju's level, because Juju's going to be first pick overall when he comes out. I mean, that time is coming. He's that good. I mean, he could play as a freshman. Like, usually people, I would say, sit people for a year, but that kid could play as a freshman. So he's ridiculously talented. So can USC deal with those things? Can USC, hold on to that class? I know they have in 2025. It's great. You see that line, you see that, you're on three, you see 24/7, they have them top five recruiting class, and then that's great. This is USC. We should have a top five recruiting class. That shouldn't be up for discussion as far as that goes. But at the end of the day, people want to win now. And that 2025 class isn't helping the 2024 roster win games. And this is I know everybody says this is like, this is a really tough, the tough league, but it's really like, it's there. 10 wins. If they had just two players away from 10 wins, it's right there for them. It really literally is right there. I'm not even asking for a national championship. I'm just asking for the playoff. I mean, this will be the third straight year they don't make the playoff under Lincoln Riley. It's gonna be hard. I think the biggest thing for the Trojans here is it's not gonna be easy to hold on to Matt Entz. It's not gonna be easy to hold on to Doug Belk. It's not gonna be easy to hold on to Danton Lynn. It's not gonna be easy to hold on to Coach Henny, Coach Nua. Like, some of these guys are going to get. I mean, you're Danton Lynn and you do a decent job with all the NFL ties he has. He and his father has. What if the Rams or Chargers defensive coordinator gets hired or blows up? They're going to make a call. They're going to make a call. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is like, it's a lot of, there's a lot of allure to the NFL for a college coach. They don't have to recruit all the time. They don't have to go through all the drama of the transfer portal and a kid you spent 4 years developing a relationship with to just go ahead and up and leave you. I mean, at least when you draft a player in NFL, he's with you for 4 years. He's with you for 5 years, depending on where he got drafted. So it's a tough road. And I think for USC, they have to find a way to start getting big people. There has to be a track record to getting big people, because these guys don't grow on trees, and they seem like they don't really worry. They're not really worried about getting developed. Them getting developed is not a big thing for them, because I would want to go to the guy who could develop me the best, and that's a guy like Coach Henny. The visits from Aaron Donald. I mean, it seems like those aren't. Nothing is swaying them, these big defensive linemen, because whether it's family, whether it's the NFL scout, sorry, the NFL scout, the NFL agent who's handling their NIL and their recruitment, because you're seeing that now as well. They're just saying, show me the money. And if you're not going to be willing to do that, then you got to find pieces that are going to not only be here, but stay here. I mean, I think these players don't want to stay in a rotation anymore. They don't see the value of staying in a defensive line rotation. I mean, Beryl Alexander didn't see the value of staying in a defensive line rotation. He could have. He could have, but he didn't. So that's something to think about as well too. Like, I'm definitely. Am I worried about it? Yes. Am I concerned about the defensive line? Yes. And I think for me, I'm frustrated. I think the biggest thing for all of us as USC fans is we're frustrated because I'm not even talking about getting a top of the line guy. I'm just talking about getting a mid guy. We're just trying to get a mid guy. Like, we can't get the kid from Stephen F. Austin, and we can't get the kid from I think it's a JUCO level Suggs. Like, I mean, that's just not SC. And, so I'm not sure what the issue is. I'm not sure what the dough is. I mean, they have a bunch of highly influential people who went to SC, who are quick to put the fight on emojis up, right? When it's time for USC to get a player, and USC goes on Twitter with those with the peace signs, right? Like, I mean, with the fight on signs, emojis. They're quick to do it, but they got to talk to the Will Ferrells of the world, talk to these guys who went to SC. Who, I mean, I'm sure with taxes they could write that donation off the House of Victory, however they want to do it. But I mean, it's just not. It's. I'm all for development. I think it makes sense to develop these kids. Like I said, they don't see the value of being in a rotation of players. They look at it as I should be playing right now. And I think the pressure of social media is, people clown them. Oh, why you at this school? They're not playing you. You're better than that. And sometimes those kids aren't better than that. They actually need to be developed for a year, and then they can shine. And then they end up transferring again. I mean, I don't know why it's. I mean, like, to me, like I said, I think it should be one portal and one portal only. That could be like, it almost be like a NFL free agency type deal there. But nope, I don't see it. I don't see it happening. I think NCAA wants to stay out of it to a certain extent because they don't want to make these guys employees. So they're just going to allow these guys to make money if they will. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough to see all these USC guys. I mean, all these defensive tackles just not come to USC. They got to me, they have the defensive ends. To me, they have the linebackers. They have the secondary, which is going to be a very good one. As far as that goes, but I don't know how if you're playing USC and your LSU and your Utah State and your Michigan in those first 3 games, you just have to kind of go heavy personnel and see if they want to block and see if they're going to be able to hold up against the run. Like, you would have to do it. I mean, you just have to. And then because this USC defense is built for 3rd and long, 3rd and 11, all those things like that. If they can do that, then damn, they're good to go. But I don't know if they can do that as far as that goes. We have another show coming up later on with Coach B, so definitely check him out. I'm gonna ask him a bunch of deep questions about this defense. Just want to get a quick show out real quick about USC and their struggles trying to get some help on that defensive line. Like I said, I think they have a lot of good pieces, and they just don't have the defensive linemen there. They need a couple of guys, and I'm surprised, to not let to even Lafitte leaving. It's just like, geez, they couldn't at least hold on to him. I mean, he had a starting job, as far as that goes. And Isaiah Rakes, they couldn't really see through the Isaiah Rakes thing, where he was just using them because you can't go SEC to SEC, in the transfer portal. So he used USC to get to where he really wanted to go. That stinks, but end of the day, they gotta get it done. Because you can't look around not in the playoffs 3 years in a row, especially after winning 11 games, even if it was a little bit of a mirage in 11 games in year one. All right, Somebody Right USC podcast. Got more coming for you this week. Definitely stay tuned, stay locked, and always fight on. And Kendrick won the battle, by the way.